Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. Would you like a piece of cake? You know, every time I hear that line, all I can think of is Milton on the movie Office Space asking if he can have a piece of cake. Well, if Milton ever got a look at the cakes in our next story, he'd never want to cut into them. Most days, you'll find Dusty Sinclair in her Corpus Christi home carefully crafting her creative baked goods.
It's a lot of work, and everything's made from scratch.
While the flour, sugar, and eggs are the basic ingredients, she goes above and beyond when it comes to making her cakes stand out from the flock.
I'm known for doing like 3D hyperrealistic, like animal and fish themed cakes, but I do wedding cakes as well.
While this sweet treat looks like a duck, seems like it could walk like a duck, and you're definitely waiting for it to quack like a duck, it really is just a cake.
Layers of cake smothered in a buttercream frosting, and then the outside layer is actually a scratch-made modeling chocolate. So it's chocolate per se instead of fondant, which tastes so much better.
While she has the heart of a hunter, Dusty has always had a soft spot for making sweets, and it started at a young age.
I always knew, like since I was a little girl, I would say probably 3, I knew I wanted to be a baker of some sort. Like I remember talking to my grandmother about it, my Grammy. I feel like she's the one who inspired me the most whenever I was younger to like do that. And in my high school yearbook, it literally says I wanted to be an art pastry chef when I grow up.
Dusty started a cookie business in 2014, but it wasn't until 2020 that she started experimenting with making cakes that look like wild game.
I'm actually self-taught, 100%. I've never had a cake class before in my life.
From fish to fowl to deer with some fine racks, Dusty has created just about every creature on God's green earth.
Oh, I've done so many. Lots of deer, axis, dorados, marlins, sailfish, bass, redfish, trout, flounder, quail, rattlesnakes.
Wow.
A lot of different things.
Making these cakes is one thing, but then getting the cakes where they need to go, well, that's a whole other ordeal.
I've had people like from another country like come in and fly and pick up cakes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I know.
For a cake.
It is for a cake.
It is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
He is going to be so proud.
One time I did a 6-foot blue marlin, and it's 3D hyperrealistic. So it's upright and you see both sides of the marlin. So it's not only long and awkward to like go through doors and stuff, but whenever it's driving, you know, it's on a board that's like long and skinny like itself. So it's like this the whole time, and I'm like, oh no.
These cakes can cost thousands of dollars, and Dusty can put together 2 or 3 cakes a week. But they're so realistic that even she is taken back from time to time.
I had done this like rattlesnake cake, right?
Yeah.
And I finished it like 3 in the morning or something. Well, I go to bed and then I wake up the next morning, I'm getting the kids for school, like 3 hours of sleep, so I'm getting ready. And I'm like, ooh, you know, like I saw it and it startled me, you know, in the living room. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, my heart's pounding. My heart's pounding right now because I remember that day and it was so funny.
It's a rattlesnake in the house.
There's a rattlesnake.
Oh, it's just a cake.
Yeah.
The cakes are popular with grooms. I mean, they do say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, but apparently these cakes will also get him to the altar.
The reason why we're getting married is so we can have your cakes at our wedding. I'm like, stop being silly. They're like, no, really, we had to reschedule our wedding just so we could have one of your cakes at our wedding. I'm like, oh my goodness, guys.
When it comes to the wedding party, people have to be reminded to keep their hands to themselves.
People will literally have signs made that says, do not touch, this is a cake. Because you'll see people over there like touching and everything, like, don't touch that, that's the cake. It's not a piece of like taxidermy just sitting, you know, there on the table, it's cake.
When people eat these cakes, is it kind of like, you know that's gonna happen, but does it hurt?
It does not make me hurt. People, that's my number one thing that customers say to me. I don't know how we're gonna cut into this cake. Like, we can't cut into it, it's too beautiful. I'm like, you paid a lot of money for that cake, you eat it. Don't waste it.
Dusty applies the same sweet feelings to her talent, making sure not to waste a single drop of her unreal ability to make a cake that looks like it belongs in the wild.
I feel like this is what God has put me on earth to do. It really warms my heart. I'm so thankful and so blessed for the amount of people that let me know that I'm doing a great job. And like, I love it.
Well, thanks for watching this segment of the Texas Bucket List. To see more, be sure you subscribe to our channel. And to see full episodes, become a member. In the meantime, you can also shop our store at the Texas Bucket List Store and Studio.